Today, I've got an extra special treat for you guys. It's not something you get to see every day. You guys get to see inside of a C30, which is the NSX V6 engine. Now, this engine has a 90 millimeter bore, 78 millimeter stroke, so they're just made to rev and make lots of high-end power. Super well built. We've got titanium rods, force pistons, some LA sleeves in this baby. She's looking fresh and ready to go together. As you guys remember, old rods, I had bent a couple of them. This one is the worst one. And so we had to source out some new titanium rods, get those all fixed up. Thanks, Jason, for coming through on those. The NSX, now you can't just buy aftermarket bearings for it, so we've got all factory bearings. The pistons are some Aries pistons. Now I've had these pistons for a minute, and they all checked out good, and everything's good that way. But guys, it's time to put this C30 together and have some fun. So one of the cool things I think is look at the tightness between the block and that cap on both sides. That's gonna secure the block from flexing and help out as much as possible. Definitely accurate ahead of its time. And you can just see how tight and see it. We'll have bolts that come through here. So I'll have a bolt that comes through here, plus these outer ones. So these things just get so secured, and they're really built strong to make some power for sure. Okay, so we got the first bolts in. These ones torqued 49 foot-pounds. Our next ones will be, these are the sides. Got these little guys. These ones torqued to 29, and they will go here, here, these outsides. And then we've got these bolts that'll shoot in the sides here. So these things are super secured, and I love that. I wish more engines were built that way, because you just feel like you can put a ton of power to it. And this 10 millimeter bolt here will torque to 36 foot-pounds. So we got 36, we got 29, and we got 48. And it'll make her, say that, and use that sticky molly. And that'll all make her just spin just freely, so. All right, so got that all torqued up, and man, she spins beautiful now. It really comes together when when you're torquing it. You can feel a little bit, but once it's all torqued up, man, it just feels so smooth. Pretty cool little feature in the NSX rod is that little hole right there. You can see my finger covering the hole right there. So that is the oil squirter for the piston. Instead of having them in the block, you have them in the rod. So pretty cool little deal right there. And that squirts the piston, keeps you cool in driving conditions and road racing. And yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. So next we're gonna throw the pistons and rods in. So cylinders 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be next. I'll get the pistons in the holes, and we'll get this unit going. So I put the number 1 piston in, but it's been a hot minute since I put one together. And it actually looks like it'd probably be easier if I take the girdle off, leave these ones all torqued down so it holds the crank in and the mains all in, and I'm able to get to the rod bolts and torque those and then come back and torque those. You know, it's been a hot minute and I don't remember everything, so it's a good reminder. So now we're ready for this girdle piece. There is no way I would have ever got the rods torqued with this on there. That's all together now. Now I'm just gonna put these bolts in, torque those again, 48 foot-pounds. Pretty neat little unit.
The windage tray is held in by the main cap bolts? Or is that the...
That's like a little girdle, but it is held in by...
Does it act as a windage tray?
No, this is where the oil comes in and gets delivered. It has a little thing that will just...
That's how the pickup works?
Well, the pickup's gonna be right here, goes into here, and this has a little thing that goes there.
Seems like a much better idea. I like that.
These engines were definitely ahead of their time.
That is interesting. Oil pump's really wide. Oil pump's huge.
Yeah, they got some stuff going on though.
Probably more than we realize. I mean, with those mains, I mean, they should love boost.
I
never pushing the crank at the bottom of this.
Try.
Even the NLS guys don't have 6-point main stock.
This probably could be a 5-second motor for sure.
Somebody just needs
Money.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Money.
Is that the water pump?
Yep. Interesting. Very interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Cool, right?
So where's that one?
That goes to the pickup.
Oh, right, which goes to the top of it. Or not to, no, to here. Interesting.
So the oil gets pumped up into the pickup. Let me see that pickup. So I got a new one coming. This one's, the screen's kind of just collapsed. But, so oil get picked up, come through here, get pumped up, come through here, come through the filter, comes back into the motor, comes up through here, fills this side, and then it has another port that goes down into the block.
Pistons are so tall.
Yep. They're still only like 10.5.
Really?
Yeah, because there's no stroke.
Right.
You gotta take up some space somehow.
Is the combustion chamber huge too?
Yeah, I don't remember. Let's find out, aren't we? All right, it's got the water pump going on. Yeah, I got a couple of water tube O-rings, new ones. You build a Honda motor, make sure you have water tube O-rings.
They're not reusable.
I have, but I've been lucky.
Yeah. You gotta squeeze that thing in there.
Terrible. Oil them. Little dash, do you? Such a beautiful engine. These things are they're just nice to work on.
You know why?
It's almost like a gift.
You know why?
Why?
It's the B series of V6s.
Oh yeah?
You said it yourself.
I said it was the second one to get VTec.
You said it had bead heads on it, so.
Well, they're like bead. So we got these big crazy dowels. They got to go in first, and then we slide the head gasket on, and then we put the head on. Yeah. All right, guys. So I've got all the cylinder head stuff laid out. We'll run through all of that, but it is time for us to do the cylinder heads. We're gonna put the camshafts in, all the VTecs, the lost motions, all the good stuff. And we'll run through that real quick. I'll show you guys how these heads go together. I think it's pretty neat how they go together. It's definitely different than the other Honda heads, as in you have to take these rods in and out with the rockers. Otherwise you can't get to the head bolts. So as you can see, like when this shaft goes in, you can't get anything past there, and these aren't seed for you to do so. So you have to pull that all out to get to the bolts. Let's run through and put these heads together, and I'll try to explain as we go. So you can see I've got all the VTec stuff all laid out. So most of you guys know how VTec works, but when the VTec solenoid opens, oil pressure will come through here, push on this solid pin, which pushes on this big pin. This one here is spring loaded. So this will sit here and ride inside here. And that's enough to lock these three rockers together. And then you just use the big cam in the middle lobe. So it gives you that low end power and then some big top end. You can see when the cars have VTec locked, they lose a lot of low end. But this allows you to keep it. Like a VTec car making noise or these rockers flapping, most of the time these little pins, they can break off. If the cam is big and they're inside there flapping, that pin can definitely be a little noise. So if you ever hear a clacking, a lot of times that pin is missing. So just a little something to be aware of. I've got all the caps all cleaned up. They are labeled per side, like R1, R2, R3, R4, and this will be F1, F2, F3, F4. So both heads are labeled, so that makes that pretty simple. These are the VTec caps right here, and they've got little splash guards right there that keep the cams nice and bathed in oil and keep the mess down and windage down of all the rotating stuff. I've already put new cam seals in all of these, so those are all straight. And then these are the lost motion devices, so when this middle lobe isn't being used, it just rides on this and keeps it from making noise. So guys, that's the basics of all this stuff. Now we just got to get it in the head, get everything set right, then we can get on to timing it. And that's pretty cool in itself too. We've also got the cam crank trigger. That's this big guy right here. And that sucker's gonna go right in here as soon as we got the camshafts in. And that'll read the back of the cam and count it all off and lets us know when everything needs to fire. Okay, so we want to start, before we do it all, putting all the lost motions in. Now we do have springs, we do have a set of SuperTech springs retainers in here, and that gives us some RPM control up top. Controls that valve. Now that we've got all the lost motions in, we're going to go ahead and put our rockers in. So this shaft will come in, but we want to make sure it's right to the face of that. I'll get all three of these suckers together here. Oh man. That's right. Alright, that's up. Okay, it's coming. You can keep going. Maybe a quarter. Okay, left. You're a whack. Boom, baby.
Wham, bam. Thank you, man.
All right, so now that we got all the rockers in, we got to tighten these Allen caps and then throw this cover on Then we can set the camshafts in. You want to make sure these cam seals are both set up in the right spot, not at an angle, not too deep, not sticking out. Put a little glue right inside here on both of these, and then I put this cap right on top. And all these are labeled with an arrow, and we got a 2 on there, so I know this is rear 2. Cam seals, rear cam seals. We have got all the marks all lined up. So there is a dash mark on each of these that will line up together. Sorry, the dipstick's right in our way here. Okay, dipstick's out of the way first. All right, so you can see the dash marks here. So this one's labeled number 1, and this one just has a dash mark. We line all those up together. This one right here, I have it turned over right now, but there's an arrow, and that's gonna point to that right there. And then there are some holes in the cams that you can pin. I just put this one in here because this one is under some tension, and like it's fine unless you just bump it and then it wants to snap. So definitely a good idea to put a pin in there. All right, so now that I got the tensioner all in position, normally you'd have a spring from here to a little tab right here. Years ago, like lots of years ago, I went to Ace Hardware and I made my own little turnbuckle deal. So this will go here to here, and it puts all my tension on my belt. The stock ones with the springs, when you really started turning RPM, these things would actually let go and you'd bend valves and stuff. So this acted like a little catch, not allowing it to move away. So let's work on this and see if we can't get the belt on now. First we run around the belt and we inspect it all. Make sure everything looks good. This was a newer belt, so that's why I have no problem using it. That'll be a tooth off. Oh no, suck it down that way. Okay. Yeah, see. Fudge brown cakes. All right, so we want to turn it over. I just got this little spacer in here just to help me space out this bolt so I can get it on off easy. So turn it over. That way we can check all the slack. Let's see, make sure everything's good. Money, on the money. All right, so we got to do the lash and all the cylinders. So we have this cam gear here that will tell us exactly which cylinder we're on. So right now we're on number 1, but you can see it'll say 4, 2, 5, 3, and 6 all the way around the gear. So that's how we'll know when we're at each cylinder. So we gotta do cylinder 1 first. So this is cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll do the lash by the firing order, but we gotta start with 1. Now I'm gonna do 6 thousandths on the intake, 8 thousandths on the exhaust. We'll slide it right in here, and it comes out right here. And the 6 is pretty loose. Let's see what the 8 feels like. Pretty loose as well. So we know this cylinder definitely needs some lashing. All right, grab that 6 thousandths. Got a little screw in here on the lash part here. You can feel it start to get tight and drag. And that's all we're looking for, is a little drag. Put it in and out. Perfect. Okay, lock that down. Double check. This is what I would double check. Make sure that's the 6, all right? So you can see it's a little tight. So that can just be the jam nut itself. So try to keep this thing a little tighter. Oh, perfect. There we go. Super tight on the exhaust side. All right. And that is how we do it. I'm gonna hit the other 5 cylinders real quick, and we put our plastic covers back on, valve covers back on, intake manifold on, and this baby's just about there. All right, so doing the lash on the next cylinder, you can see it says cylinder 1 right there. We're gonna turn this baby until we get to cylinder 4. Yeah, cylinder 4. And that will be this hole. So let's do that one real quick. Crank this baby to the next hole, which will be 2. All right. So we're back over here, center hole. Let's do it. All right, guys, we got this thing together. I mocked up the intake manifold and valve covers. There's a few little things I still got to do. I'm waiting for the correct keyway. This keyway is one for another kit we have for something else, but it kind of worked for getting that together. And then I still got to put the coils on, fasten the intake manifold, get everything set up. I'm still waiting for the oil strainer as well to seal up the pan. That's supposed to be here Friday, so that'll be the last of the little stuff I need. And then I can put it on the ground, get the transmission on, get all the water accessories on, and then this thing can go back in the car.
Yep.
Yeah, this thing's pretty crazy, huh?
It's interesting for sure.
It is definitely different. Honda was just way ahead of their time.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting like oiling things and everything like that. It's just different.
Yeah.
Compared to like a B series or something.
But there's like B series similarities.
Oh yeah. Like
yeah.
the heads are essentially like a wide, short B head.
Yeah.
With cool oiling caps and everything.
Yeah, and how it like slings the oil back to the cam and has the little splashes on them and stuff. So those are cool. The titanium rods are pretty neat, you know. These engines were just way ahead of their time for the 90s. Because you were looking up Coyote stuff and it's the same degree.
Same angle, same like a lot of similarities there, except the stroke. The stroke on this is only 78 millimeters.
And the Coyote's what?
92.
92. So this thing's made just to rev for days.
Yeah.
Like you could just really rev these things out. Such an interesting engine, and I was just stoked I could bring it to you guys and like let you peek inside of one, because it's not every day you get to do that. Like you've seen this stuff laying around and you haven't seen this stuff.
I've never seen it put together. It's been around my whole life.
Yeah. And it's pretty awesome, huh?
It is.
It is. It's just really neat technology. So I'm stoked I could share that with you guys. We appreciate you guys watching and enjoying this. It's something we absolutely love. And I'm really stoked I could bring it to you guys. So next, we'll get the flywheel and clutch all on. I'll get the intake fastened on. I'll get everything else buttoned up. And then the next time you see this thing, we'll be putting it in the car and getting it ready to run, which I'm super excited for as well. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to visit the PFI Speed website. Get your competition race parts. We've also got now a spring store that if you're on your phone, it's just below the video. You'll see a full line of shirts that I've just personally been playing with. My race car identifies as carbon neutral, and I just came out with one that says the EPA can kiss my gas. So check those out, pick one up, and we appreciate you guys watching. Give us a like, subscribe. We'll see you guys all tomorrow.